Okay. Okay, I hear ya, but I don't know why. Huh,
Is it the camera thing? I mean, it's not the.
it's this, I think.
Low battery.
Okay.
Low battery.
Okay,
Oh, wait, it's that. Oh, it's the speaker. It's turn it off. It's this thing that's.
it's not us,
No.
it's somebody else. Hi, Mark, we're just getting organized and we can't call the meeting to order yet anyway because we don't have a quorum.
Okay, hello, and good evening, United Neighborhood Council.
Thank you. But so we need one more officer to have quorum, so.
I hope they show up.
As do we. As do we. And Paula won't be here because she has a new grandbaby was just born an hour ago.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the end of that. Paula for today.
You can turn this to Zoom as well.
You're not supposed to be,
Oh.
but I'm gonna call Candace, have Michael's phone number, unfortunately. I mean, officers are supposed to be in person if they can be. They recognize, we all recognize it's just not always possible. At least this new technology allows us to conduct business. Hey, Candace, we're waiting to start executive. Assuming we get assuming we do get quorum, we do have a discussion about the agenda. So can I ask you? Just. Yes, well, not the quorum, but if we get, here's Teresa, but that's doesn't, oh no, it's me and this. We have quorum. Yay. Hi. Okay. So Paula's not coming and I don't know Michael's phone number to check. I might be able to figure it out. Because
He's trying to get in.
there's this. Oh. Yeah, traffic was majorly sucking. Oh, where'd you go? I got it. How'd that happen? Okay, sensitive.
Hi, this is Michael. I'm like 2 blocks away, but stuck in
Okay.
a ton of traffic, so I figured I'd just call in if you needed to get started.
We can wait the 2 blocks. Candace just got here too.
Hi.
Michael.
How are you? See you in a
Hello.
second.
Hello, guest, on a guest. Over already, it is. Yeah.
The middle of them.
Am I the only crazy person who had to do her taxes? Well, I'm not the only one, because my work teacher had to turn in taxes today. Oh, yes, I did do it. Yeah. Right, so my tax lady test was on top of
I
it.
do mine in January.
Well, you're a good boy.
Sure.
Oh, is it a little harder when you're like an independent contractor? And when you're like an independent contractor, you're too busy all the time, so you just don't do it.
I mean, I just go to some.
No, I know, but I mean, it's like, oh, in April, wish I could do it right now, but yeah, a little busy. Not that I was less busy in October.
Yeah, no, my tax lady is also my friend in Houston, and she'll literally be like, send me your tax.
Well, what happened, David, so we're in the middle of doing, sorry, Mark, we're just talking about people we all know. We're in the middle of trying desperately to get our taxes done for the year 2023, and he sends me an email. And on Wednesday, we need to do 2024, and it's like, oh, I'm not adding up any more columns of your money. I'm not doing anything. You're clearly, and your bookkeeper's in Seattle. Just send her the stuff.
My Spectrum Wi-Fi 8 2G.
Oh, is that me? Let me tell you, I'm a Samsung. Does that say Samsung?
Oh, yes.
That'd be me.
Samsung Galaxy 8264.
Do you need it? I can get you the password if you want.
Computer should be familiar with this.
Yeah,
No, it's
but, here, do you want it?
let's see if it does it.
Because it's a very odd password.
Oh, okay.
Are you in?
Wait, hold on. It's spinning. Oh yeah, I'm in.
All right.
I thought, like, wait a minute. This is
I
my
wasn't really meaning to give it to you for you, but that's okay. I just
this
never.
is my work computer, so I've used it for neighborhood council stuff before.
Well, you must have been sitting next to me
Mhm.
at some point at the board meeting. Okay. We're still waiting for Michael to walk in the door. Although we actually could call this meeting to order in the forum, and I can share the screen with the agenda. And so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna call the meeting of UNNC's Executive Committee officially to order. My name is Laura Myers. I am the Vice President of, the Neighborhood Council. We could all introduce ourselves.
I am Marco Ramirez, and secretary.
Officially, Candace.
Candace Jackson, I'm the treasurer, the money lady.
Edward Martinez, board member.
Right, and at some point rather soon, Michael Soderstrom will be walking in the door, but since we have quorum, I can share the screen with our agenda. And go through that, because I'll just hand him a piece of paper, you can see it when he gets here, and he's already seen it anyway. So, so on tonight's agenda, we have a welcome and call to order. And review the agenda and a roll call, sort of that. General public comments and announcements, and that will be any announcements or any comments on items not on tonight's agenda. Executive committee business, so we'll have a treasurer's report of the president's report. She will not be present. And we do have some draft minutes that we can take a look at. We have a, want to say request, but it's actually a requirement. The city clerk has sent us a copy of, they drafted an inventory report, which is not accurate. So we need to discuss that and how we're gonna make an accurate one. We have a discussion about the UNNC elections and just sort of a discussion of, we have to start talking about a budget. So that'll be the discussion we have. And then a couple of funding items that may or may not end up in recommendations to the governing board. And committee reports if as needed. And here is Michael. How did I go? I'm not going to do it again on the screen. Anyway, so I'm going to stop the share. He's going to sit down and introduce himself to our audience.
Hi, Michael. I'm the signature.
And we are going to move on to general public comments. And again, that's anything that's not on tonight's agenda. If anybody has any comments, please raise your hand virtually or here in the room. Anyone has any comments about anything not on tonight's agenda? It does not appear. Does. Okay. So next item, executive committee business. Treasurer's report. And I just put, this is so generic, budget and rollover update.
I have those things.
Okay.
Okay, so, finally got our, belated MER done. So our, September MER is up, so we will talk about that at the next meeting, but essentially it just had our, MPG request for the, Korean festival and the Congress of Neighborhoods. That money was paid out already. And so this is a general report because I know that we're gonna need to know that number for today. To date, we have spent $2,700 of our MPG funds. Our total budget allotment for that was $6,000. So we have $3,300 left.
Technically, in that.
Technically
chunk
in that
of the
fund.
budget.
The Adams money came from the outreach pot
Right.
because that was more like a community event.
Well, because we were buying an outreach.
Right, because we're buying a booth. Also still, so who needs to know about that? We'll talk. But yes.
I
we gotta
just
get
spoke
them.
to Donna within the last 40 minutes, and she's saying, you know, we only got $750. And I
Yeah,
said,
because
that's
I need.
right, because
Right.
we need the second invoice for $750.
Mhm.
And she said, huh? And I said, we told Jeff.
Okay, so anyway, that's still outstanding, but all of our other MPGs have been paid out, so keep that magic number, $3,300 in mind. Now,
What are we holding for hands on? We haven't done that yet. We haven't dealt with that BAC yet. Has
and
she invoiced us for anything?
she does not. Ann's money is in the, Ann's
Well,
money's in the operational. fund,
yes.
And of our operation, that money would still be set aside because operationally, we've only spent, $3,929.39.
When did we spend that much money? Oh, I guess we paid.
Well, we.
that.
So a lot of things are billed to us like annually, so we paid a bunch of our annual bills and food for the meetings, etc. So we've only spent $3,900, just like $26,000.
Yeah.
So
It's the
Ann's
biggest
money,
chunk.
yeah, and money is set aside, because it's also like the most, I don't wanna say generic chunk, but a lot of the things that we do as an NC kind of come out of that operational and office kind of budget, so
And the other thing that's for those who aren't new to that, the stuff that is in operations.
Mhm.
We don't have to keep going back to the board each month and ask for the vote on a line item. So, but that's things like our public storage, refreshments for board meetings only.
Mhm.
So if we wanted refreshments for a candidates meet and greet, that's different.
That's a different.
That's completely different. But it, you know, it's all of the money for the website, including the Amazon and
Yeah.
all of the other, you know, domain name, you know, all
Yeah.
of that.
So Ann's money is still set aside there. I know that we're still
Well, we need to get our operations on BAC.
On what's assigned. Yeah.
Better.
But she has not, right, but she has not invoiced us yet. So
Okay.
I think
So she's not saying, oh my God, I'm desperate.
Yeah, so she's probably gonna send us like a fat bill.
Well, July, August, September,
Right, so it's gonna be for
October.
several
Yeah,
months. Okay, so that's how much we have left in the PG, 3,300. And then I heard back from Anna about our rollover, and they said that the rollover is correct. And that the previous fiscal year, from 2022 to 23, there was an $8,500 $63 rollover
Mhm.
that rolled over into the next year. And so now I have to audit and see where the difference is, because they could. So she's like, well, maybe your receipt was off, something was off, or something was different.
We don't
So-
care because they gave us extra money.
Yeah, I think that the big point behind that was just to make sure that they wouldn't like email me in October, November, like, hey, remember when we said y'all had an extra $9,000? Guess what? You know, so we've run that through them and they said, no, it's accurate. So she asked me to say, hey, like maybe you just look over. So I'll do that just so I can.
Well,
make
it's
it-
possible then that this still relates, we did not spend all of the money. I think that we had put aside for the Western Heights tree project, it's possible, but.
Yeah, but that like is like a
Yeah.
set aside, but it's
Yeah.
not that, because remember when we did all the numbers last year, it basically added up to us having about $6,000 worth of.
Okay, well, let me just say it this way. We don't really wanna spend $9,000 on elections, we'll get to it later, but that, you know, I feel that this money goes back to the community.
Yeah,
And
so we
community
can add that
spending,
to our NPG pot.
You know.
That's what we like to recommend.
Yeah, well, we're saying MPG, but however, because one of the things on tonight's agenda, we'll get to it, is like a non-MPG donation,
Mhm.
which I'll explain what it's semi-been explained to me.
So that's where we are with the budget. As far as I know, there's no outstanding MPGs, yay me.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my treasure. Thoughts, questions? Anybody want to help me out? Okay.
Well, at what point did you want to take to the board, and it's probably the answer, is probably December, except we want to have a party.
Mhm.
The update to the whole budget. But I think it has to be December, because we have to know how we're gonna do the line item for the election.
Yeah, we have to think about those.
So, but that means the November executive committee, that's where we're gonna do the real work.
Okay.
Because what has to happen is the whole budget has to be updated
Mhm.
and approved by the board, and then you submit a new budget online, and however you do that
Yeah,
in the portal.
you just go on the portal and update the numbers.
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
wanna
there's some
know,
things.
I don't wanna know.
Yes, but yes, so we
Yeah,
can talk
I
about.
didn't take typing classes when I was in high school, because I don't wanna know, and I don't wanna know this, because I don't want anybody ever to say to me, hey, would you like to be the treasurer?
You know, it's good times, but I think that we could, you know, if anyone has suggestions, we could talk about it, or y'all can email me.
Right,
And
but
then
the
when I
main,
make-
the important thing to know is the November executive committee, we actually have to do a line by line by line redo of the budget.
And I have to have a draft of that for you. to
Exactly.
Consider, okay.
Exactly, because we can't be doing line by line by line. at
No,
the
it's a
December
meeting,
board
it doesn't
meeting.
work.
So, and the other option is if you wanna have a standalone, you know, treasurers committee ad hoc
Mhm.
on a Saturday.
No,
Just
thank you.
saying.
I will allot.
Excuse
Think
me.
through how we can shift our additional $9,000 to make suggestions. And then we can do it as the committee involved.
Right, well, we've already been financing things that we weren't even anticipating,
Mhm.
so, you know, I mean, in other words, it's a living, breathing
Yeah, I learned
document.
that much. It's.
Right.
So.
But this is a big part of it. I mean, the little parts, I don't think we have to keep resubmitting. I think, you know, we can then in January move 1,000 here, 1,000 there, but it's this since they've given us this $9,000,
It's
we
a
have
lot,
to
man.
put it into the budget.
So, that's my report.
Okay. Sweet. All right, so Vice President's report, you are so good. He's already done all his training. All of it. We still have board members who are a year behind.
I started one last.
I'm just saying, but thank you so much for you doing it. And was it, I mean, because they were giving us a little pushback about providing the cornerstone because we hadn't given them all the first name, last name at UNNC.org emails. So they said, we're not giving the cornerstone until, so Hunter had to spend the weekend finalizing that. And so it came and you got it. And so-
Yeah, I got it on Friday, but I didn't work yesterday because of the conditions.
Right.
So I spent all day just doing it.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because Friday morning we got the email saying, we're not giving it to do it. And then Hunter did jump through the hoops and yes, they jumped through the hoops. They left. So all good. So that part's good. Ed Saunders also had done his training. So we're still on Betty and Show King. I mean, this just hasn't changed.
Right.
And yes.
Okay, this is just like me thinking, turning on my old teacher brain here. Is it like a computer access problem
With Betty?
with both? Like, are they trying to do the training on the phone? Because I did mine on my computer. And I feel like that's.
I think we have two different issues.
Okay.
I don't know what Betty's issue is because she did the 3 core trainings in a very timely manner.
Mhm.
But she didn't do the anti-bias and now she later didn't do the genders. So I don't know if there's a, I don't want to do it component to this. If her technology changed, I don't know.
Okay.
In terms, in other words, it's the opposite. She did, I think the one she was interested in. And didn't pass ethics or funding. And so, yes, she tried to at one point do it on the phone, but she had done the other one successfully, yes, on the computer. So I can't answer the question, but she's, it's a year plus.
Yeah.
And I'm not her mom either. So she knows, because we voted on it, she's
Oh, yeah.
got to November 3rd.
Right.
That's it. So we need to move on though to a discussion on attendance, because we're beginning to have quite a number of board members who are edging to 5 or even 6 absences. And
I think tardiness is also.
tardiness and failure to tell us when they're not attending.
Not to call you out with that, but no, I sometimes, we have busy schedules and some of the, previously. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, go.
I'm saying it, that, I started showing up earlier to set up. So then I have to be there 2 hours, 2.5 hours, someone that comes late, sits there for an hour. Other things to do as well.
Yeah, I think also, today I called in specifically so that you could start the meeting. No. I'm saying, but I'm saying that people could do that for any other, we reach quorum, really quorum becomes the problem with tardiness.
Yeah, no, that's I appreciate that you called in.
Yeah, if you just call in, even if you're in the car, it's super easy.
Right.
Reach quorum that way. We could start it and get
Not
to
hold
business.
everything up.
Yes.
Right. Well, and the thing is,
Be some suggestion.
it's not that tardiness is not a new problem. We've been, UNNC, we have been trying to deal with how to avoid not starting the meetings on time since Jeff was president, which would be 2016. In other words, it goes back. And Denise was president 17, 18. Anyway, so what Denise Jackson did, we started, and then we did this even through the beginnings of COVID, is we decided not for every meeting, but we would have a speaker scheduled for 6 or 6:30. It's not the meeting, but it would be an interesting presentation. You're trying to encourage people
To come.
and listen to whatever. We had a variety of different kinds of speakers, ranging from The then city controller did some great presentations on some of the research, the data that they were doing, and the head of the civil rights unit came, but we also did a presentation on Asian American History Month, and 6 months later, we have Black History Month. I mean, we just did a variety of different things. Now that we're hybrid, all that would do is trigger you or someone like you coming even earlier
Right.
to set up. So I'm not sure that that's great for those of us who would have to come early. But it allowed us to be many more people in the room by 7 o'clock. So the meeting was, if not able to start on time, the speaker just keep going a little longer and we weren't just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. So I think we could consider that here or there, but it would require, if we're gonna do it hybrid, you know, if we're gonna
come in like 6.
yeah, no, it'd be setting up even earlier. I mean, you know, so
right.
it doesn't help his problem, wouldn't help my problem if I'm bringing the food. I mean, it's, you know, it's still just makes it early. So
I mean, the speaker side doesn't have to be hybrid.
true.
Could we
That's a good idea.
be setting up while the speaker?
Exactly.
Alternately, I mean, if we are getting people to log in, if that's the goal, we could just send out like a text or an email for the meeting, be like,
Yep.
meeting's gonna start. If you can't make it, at least dial in
Yes.
and
I
have
think
like the
that's-
link ready to go. So there's like so little barrier, just click. On.
Yeah.
Right. But that also, that's the tardiness factor. It's the people not being responsive. And Paula will do a forum check, or I will send out a forum check, and we're not hearing people. And so we're scheduling meetings where, in fact, we might not be able to have forum, not because
Even
someone,
online.
right, not because someone is suddenly ill, but because they never planned to go and they just didn't tell us they never planned to go. So for whatever reason, I mean, good reason, bad reason. So, and then we also have the issue of what the heck is an unexcused absence? And I know we had this discussion when we were adopting bylaws.
Yes.
That would be April 2024. And we specifically talked about, you know, you're getting married, that's probably a good excuse.
On a Tuesday, come on.
You're getting
It's a lot of.
the rehearsal dinner, but I mean, you know, there's things that are obviously excused absences, so long as you told us.
Yeah.
But we also said your birthday is not an excused absence.
Remember,
But we would have that discussion, that literal discussion. And Shokeen was present at that meeting. So when she said, oh, I didn't know, it's like, well, you're not paying attention. And that's just one example. But what is an excused absence?
Well, I think we could have a very like high bar for what would meet an excused absence, but then somewhat a more liberal policy of, you know, missing 3 meetings, say.
Well, the
Yeah,
bylaws,
that seems fair.
okay, so the bylaws are actually clear in some ways. 3 in a row, we risk being, 3 in a row is consecutive. You risk,
An excuse.
no, 3 in a row or 3 unexcused.
Oh.
Was how we set it up, 3 in a row or 3 unexcused, but since we haven't defined unexcused, that's how people are edging towards 5 or 6, or in the case of Shokane, 8. And that's a problem.
yeah.
But what Dunn told me when I was talking, you know, in other words, I talked to Alfonso, we want to put Shokane on the agenda again, not for next month, but for the meeting we just had. And, you know, call me back after consulting with whoever we talked to. And he said, oh, you know, you're like targeting her. And that doesn't seem right. And it's like, well, she's had 8 absences. Right. And that's a lot more than anyone else. But he said, but the others you have others who exceeded 3 that are in your bylaws.
That because of it.
So it becomes a targeting of the person who's the worst, but there's others who we should be warned, and yet we don't want to have that many vacancies.
Do we have like a parliamentarian or somebody that enforces things?
You mean not the vice president?
Yeah.
Mom, here doesn't like it. I mean, Teresa would say that she's here, so she might not say, but I think Teresa would say it's the job I took.
Oh,
And therefore I should do it. But. And that's not a wrong answer, but I'm just sort of perplexed as to how to handle this sort of mixed opinion from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. That we should treat everybody the same. And so, so that was why I put on the agenda, do we want to create a list of what is an excused and what is an unexcused? And then that is itself a bit of a subjective, not objective standard.
We would all have to vote on these. At the end of the day,
Yeah, I don't mean we sit here tonight.
No, we as a
Yeah.
board.
I think something like that provides a level of clarity that people need, right? So then when it gets to a point of like, I didn't know it was excused or it was unexcused, there's like a literal set of things, like here are the things,
Right.
These are the things that count. I think, so I don't think it's some kind of.
And is it something we want in the standing rules? Or is that going too far? Is it something we just want for this term and let it be something even more, something that each year we talk about? We don't want it in the bylaws because first of all, we don't have any ability to change the bylaws for the next X number of months or years.
You should have an understanding rules. I think it just looks better when people are clear about what's expected.
Yeah, that's true. This has become the most talked about agenda item of the year, so.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that way you could say, hey, look, this is where you're at now. And they don't have any ambiguity. Because a lot of times people claim ignorance, even if there's evidence that, hey, you should know about this, but hey, there's understand the rules that.
Yeah, I think like a medical emergency.
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
And somewhat liberal, like you can miss 3 or 4 and throughout the course of the year and so be it.
Emergency.
Medical emergency would be really the only excused one, and then beyond that.
well, there's work, your boss says you can't leave,
But I mean, if that happens every Thursday,
that's a
then
problem.
yes, the things probably aren't working out. This isn't like just your lifestyle's not right.
You're not representing the people you are elected to represent.
Sure.
I also say this from someone who has a boss who does things like that. I think that communication, like Laura said, is the key. So like if I know I have to be in Northern LA County, then I'll let Laura know, like, hey, or I have an event, hey, so I'll call in. So I feel like that kind of thing is not like terrible. It's just like to the point of like letting people know, like, hey, this is what's happening. If you know in advance, like if I know in advance, I'll be like, hey, I know it's coming. I think it's just so that we can plan and have fun. I think what we're fighting here is like the enforcement. Like, how do we enforce this, or who's going to be the heavy to enforce? Is what
On the part of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment to allow us to enforce.
Yeah, they're worried about getting in trouble for that.
All right, so, but if we think it should be in the standing rules, we are still pending appointing an ad hoc committee, standing rules. Remember, we tabled it, so we'll be back on the agenda.
I do have one more or kind of thought question. Okay, so if you said there's 6 people
Who have bad attendance.
who are in kind of the same,
Not quite the same, but
similar.
Well,
So
just in other words, we have a number of people who missed the special meeting. And they're saying, well, it was a special meeting. It's like, yeah, but that's because we didn't have quorum for the first one, and some of them contributed to the lack of quorum of the first September meeting.
is there a way to collectively deal with everyone? Because I feel like Alfonso's point is fairness, right? So if everybody's kind of, everyone who's in this group of cusp folks, if instead of just calling one person out, say, hey, 6 cusp folks, these are the rules, these are the things, you have like 2 more and then we'll have to see.
Maybe one.
Right, but see what I'm saying, like dealing with it collectively instead of just saying, like. This one person, you're egregious, and the rest of y'all are almost egregious, but not quite, right? So like, just deal with everyone collectively so that it's fair.
Right.
So
And
that
you
we
do-
don't have. bumps
Right,
with
and we
the-
did go through the list at the board meeting,
Mhm.
you know, but it was sort of like including people who weren't there to hear it. So,
Yeah.
so I guess what we really need is a formal letter from Paula or signed by Paula. That also, I think, goes out. When I say formal letter, it can be by email with a letter attached, or even formalized in an email, but I think. We need to do something like that. Okay, we've spent too much time on
Okay,
this.
sorry.
No, no, no.
I volunteered to send an email or text, if that's something I can just do.
Okay.
Teresa has a.
Teresa,
Hi, everybody.
hi there. Hey, Teresa.
Hi. I want to make a comment, but before I do, I just want to know who's in the room. I know I came late. Oh, there's the wide shot. Okay, great.
Here we are.
Well, I just want to say that we have bylaws that explicitly detail the way we should be managing this.
You are correct.
So I know you guys just spent 10 minutes, but if we just followed the bylaws, they're detailed. We spent a lot of time. They were approved by Dunn. All we have to do is follow the bylaws and we will be protected from any adverse, possible retaliation. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Okay, and you're not wrong, except for that's what Alfonso said he didn't think we could do. Anyway,
Yes, but we can because we have bylaws that explicitly detail that. And we could have said to him, hey, you guys just approved the bylaws. This is not, left over from 2 years ago. No more.
No,
I think his point was that we weren't enforcing them in the past, and then now that we suddenly enforce them, it becomes a matter of selective enforcement. So I think if we sort of go through the process, drop the line, say, this is the policy going forward, we're going to fall back on the policy we've already agreed to. Starting, bam,
And.
and then I think we'll be covered going, yeah.
Just.
All members of the.
well, the entire member of the board, but see, the interesting thing is, there's not a lot of people with, say, 2 absences. We've got people with 5 absences and people with no or only 1.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it still applies to all of them regardless.
All right, well, again, we'll move on, but I think also part of the consensus is figuring out how to prepare a list of excused and a list of absolutely unexcused absences, categories of absences could go into the standing rules when we finally appoint that ad hoc committee and start working on, because remember, we have the item where see if the standing rules are consistent with the bylaws now that we changed the bylaws.
Yeah.
But we also have just added the youth advocates. That's not in the standing rules. We need to adjust them anyway. So we could add something here. But first we have to appoint that ad hoc committee.
We're kind of finding the bylaws. If it's
On the website.
it's on the website.
Hope it's on the website.
So you might.
Yeah.
Really do. I mean, I hope the current bylaws are on the website. Okay. All right, we're again tabling the president's report. I do have some draft minutes that Paula did for and these were not, unfortunately, on the Google Drive. So we'll have to, if we approve this, we have to add to the Drive. So, so these are minutes of the executive committee from September 17. Not the secretary wasn't exactly absent because there was no secretary. And oops, and so Paula did the minutes. I don't know who the guest Edward from some region was. So does anybody know who, these are right names and people to approve?
I'm sure.
I don't remember either.
It wasn't the gentleman.
I think it was me, and I think she misspoke.
Oh. That's,
I think it was me.
Yeah, because you were here to talk about.
I was just there. Yeah, yeah.
At March.
well, no, but I mean,
Oh.
she's just identifying where they
We're
live.
in 6, right?
6?
It's Jefferson.
Just, it's the same
Okay.
thing.
Got it. And so I don't know if these other two people who they were. I don't actually remember guests. Other guests, but she must be right. There were other guests. I just don't remember.
There were 2 other people here and I.
Oh, yes, I remember,
Yes.
yes.
2 other people here and I think.
They were in the building on Adams.
Yes, they were here for the the zoning thing, I think we talked about.
They lived next door to the
Yes,
complex.
they
that was
lived
going
next
on
door
Adams.
to the zoning.
Oh, right.
They
Right.
wanted to come voice their.
Right. Thank you, guys.
See, we do pay attention.
Teresa.
I was just gonna confirm that they were neighbors that live down the street on Adams. Community members that live down the street.
So that means you were here as a guest as well.
No, I was on Zoom.
Right, were you? Right.
Oh, actually, no, I wasn't on Zoom. I was
But your name
watching
was-
on YouTube. Sorry, I was watching on
So you
YouTube.
weren't here?
I-
Okay,
No, I was not here.
thank you. Okay, so we had the announcement about the Tom Lavange Day, no treasurer's report, no secretary's report. Is this an accurate minutes for what you recorded last month?
Yes.
They were still looking into it and now they're done.
Okay. And there's that list of who needs to take. No, Teresa, you were here.
Oh.
Because you made a suggestion. So you must have not been on.
I don't think I
We'll
was
add
in
you to
person
the-
though. I think I was on Zoom.
No, but I mean, you're probably on real Zoom as opposed to YouTube Zoom.
Okay.
All right, since somehow you made a suggestion, so you must have been here, just saying. Okay. And we just discussed all the same stuff. And wait,
We did that because I remember reading that letter, the KCIS.
yes, that did do. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of a messy thing. But that's it, those are the minutes. So I would say I would move to approve the minutes pending their reformatting so that they actually are fine. Yes, Teresa.
Yes, that meeting I was in person. And those 2 people were there along with Catherine to discuss what was happening over at the building.
Okay, so Catherine's last name is. I don't remember,
I don't
I'll-
remember either.
but I have an email from her. Okay, so I would move to approve pending me adding Catherine's last name and reformatting these minutes so they're not all over the wonky Microsoft Word format. Anybody want to?
Second that?
All in favor? Okay. Save the changes. And stop to share. The next item on the agenda is the UNNC inventory report. And I did put in the agenda packet, and I can share the screen, but I don't know that it's needed. Depending on how this conversation goes, the inventory the tentative inventory, which was sort of more some questions and not just answers, that the city clerk's office prepared based on, they said, the evaluation of our spending. And then I also pulled down from portal the 2021 inventory that the board had approved, and which at the time Greg was the treasurer and he uploaded. some of the items that they're asking, that they've got on the current sort of draft inventory are items we already told them we no longer have. So it just gets a little complicated. And then some of the items were items that I don't know where they are, that were in Greg Jackson's possession at the time. So Teresa, you had sent us an email saying you were willing to work on the project of the inventory, not be the only person. Is that right?
Yes, depending on who the other participants or the other committee members are, I was here when we did the initial one in 2021. So I do remember some of the
Well,
things.
right. Do you know, because what Greg had in his possession were, I would say, the digital things that we removed from Council District 10 field office, and he stored at his home, because we had a storage inside the now former council office. And I know that the storage cabinet is in our storage facility, but I haven't been to there. Do we have like that other computer?
No, those things aren't there, but
projector?
no, they're not there. But I will say that if I work, as I said, depending on who the other people are, we can go back to Greg and we can collect those items and put them in
Right, so
storage.
we think he probably still has them. That was really my question.
I
I don't mean
believe
that he
so.
got
I
rid
mean,
of them.
there's no
He didn't
reason-
give them to us. He probably still has.
Oh, no.
Okay. And one of the computer that, if he has it, is 9 or 10 years old. Whatever it was, but the projector is probably fine. Hopefully we have it. I mean, nobody uses it when we're using this system, but it doesn't mean we would never use the projector again.
I feel like I should know these things for financial purposes, so I'll be on maybe of council's inventory.
Okay. So Teresa, was Ever and Candace who have volunteered. Now we have to, technically, I think what we have to do is the board has to vote on who does the inventory, which they didn't put in the email, but which we had to do that last time. Do you remember, Teresa? Did we have to vote on who's doing the inventory?
I don't think so. I think it was the treasurer's responsibility.
All right.
So I don't know what it said, but if I would like to work with Candace and Ever.
Okay. I mean, well, let's just assume.
Yeah, I think Hunter said he was also willing to.
Well, it's essentially, somebody has to be able to go in, and Teresa is key, I think. We have to look in storage as to what we have, and then crack down some of the other things, and then repeat on the things that we already know we don't have. We just tell them again, we told you in 2021 we don't have them, and we still don't have them.
So
Are three people enough?
3 is enough. And if Hunter wants to help, but 3 is certainly enough.
So I just looked up the inventory report on the council funding. And it says, how often do we have to do this? Because the last one was submitted in 2020.
Correct.
And it still says pending review, which is.
Well, that might be why they didn't, if they didn't review it and read it, that's why they might not realize that some of the things are gone. So. And I think at least one more thing is gone and one more thing is acquired, because I think on the old one, there's a pop-up tent that doesn't exist, but we bought a new one.
Well,
Correct.
right, I just saw the inventory report, so I could share that.
Yeah, it's that inventory report as well as the one that was just created are both in our agenda packet. I put both of them on the agenda. And okay, but for tonight, Teresa, Candace, Ever, I will follow up with Anna to find out if we have to actually vote on the 3 of you. I don't necessarily do. Treasurer does have to upload it, and we have a little bit of time. They gave us 3 minutes.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
that's fair. Okay. UNNC election. So we need to talk about, there's nothing final here. We just need to start talking about the elections and a preliminary elections budget. So unlike public storage or refreshments. The elections budget's an actual line item, but so if we're gonna print postcards and distribute them at restaurants, if that's an effective tool, we have to know how many postcards and how much that's gonna cost. So I know you haven't even had a minute to really think about this, and I was pretty surprised to get an email today saying that for our region, they're having the regional elections meeting to talk about, I guess, how to do elections effectively on December 4th. And it's like, because by then we should have word out, because people are to start signing up as candidates in late December. So why are we waiting until December 4th to have our preliminary discussion with Don? Or the clerk or whoever is sponsoring that meeting? So, so what I did upload to the agenda, here is
I have it right here.
that, the handbook. So have you read it?
I skimmed through it. I haven't read all of it.
Okay, so I'm not gonna post it, I'm not gonna share the screen with it, but what's your impression of it?
Well, I think that the most important date that we have is December 6th, which is the filing period begins. So by then, the candidate filing period begins on December 6th, which is candidate and challenger. That's 52 days away. But by then, if I'm not mistaken, we have one UNNC board meeting between then and now. So,
Right, but there's no way we can do the budget
Yeah.
on November 6th.
Yeah.
Because, it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
And especially if they're gonna not tell us their ideas were the best ideas until December 4th.
yeah, so.
I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, so, but we do have 175 days until the actual election day. Give or take the candidate. 3 months from now.
Okay, so it's December 6th through January 20th. For
Yes,
candidate filing.
candidate filing. I think those are the important dates, because we need to identify candidates, challengers, all of that within that period, so that they're eligible to actually do the.
When you say challengers, what do you mean by that?
If there's more than one person, or if like.
Well, it's just.
So it says here, yeah, it says candidate and then challenger, so I just put.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
can have 7.
But it's the same thing. I'm guessing if someone's running for re-election, that's the candidate, and then someone challenging that candidate.
I think we just use the word
Well, we could do that, yeah. I was,
because that implies that somebody has a leg up over someone else if you use the
Yeah.
word challenger.
yeah, so, I mean,
What's the last day of the file?
Monday, January 20th, 2025.
And what day was the election?
The day of the election is April 8th, 2025. For Region 10, we are in Region 10.
So basically, the whole elections thing from a neighborhood council point of view is in 3 chunks. There's the get the word out that you can be a candidate. Then there's the get the word out that it's an overlapping thing. Get the word out to everybody else. You can be a voter, but you have to apply for a ballot. Then there's you got your ballot, but you have to send it in. How to vote. And then in so that's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or you can combine phases 2. How to get your ballot and then use it once you have it. And then we also have the sort of meet the candidates that goes into that same thing. So for you need a committee. I mean, I thought I had seen Dolores, Diana, and Chris kind of conclave at the back of the room 2 months ago with starting to have ideas about no idea, not any one of the 3 saying, I'd like to be the elections chair. So thank you very much. But they were starting to talk about ideas, I wasn't listening to what their ideas were. But if they're gonna do that, they need to come to your committee.
Right.
Um,
And is there a meeting scheduled or how do I go about? this?
I need to, just confirm that we can have the fourth Monday. I mean, the room shouldn't be booked, but I have to confirm that we can.
Okay.
Free. Because that was the old recreation parks committee night, so it's a generic thing, we had booked it a year ago, but we haven't booked it for this.
I see. Okay.
Are the open positions on?
This packet doesn't tell us which position, I mean, they're the A seat, is it the A seats or the B seat?
It is the.
No judgment.
It is the group A seats.
Group A seats, but we have at this moment in time, we also have two group B seats, right? We have area 1 and area 4. Unless somebody think. No, area. Yeah,
And did we want to put those on the?
well, I don't know that we have a choice. I mean, we need to get the person who's our elections rep to tell us what we can or cannot do. So we have, yeah, area 4 and area 1 have nobody ever ran for those seats. So can we put them on the ballot or not? Because they were not very cooperative last time with letting us be flexible and do what we wanted. But, I mean, it makes sense that we put it on ballot.
At the end of the day, is there a Harvard Heights one this cycle?
Yeah, the one you're now sitting in.
Oh, mine, okay.
You're running for election.
I was gonna say, there's separate meetings, I was gonna solicit candidates, but oh geez. Get their suit ready. My stuff speak.
I know I'm in an at-large seat.
Yeah,
I
you,
live-
yeah, we're all
but I
of
live
us
in
who were
Penn.
appointed, yeah, our seats are up.
But I live in District 4, so what does it make sense to?
4 is Western Heights.
No,
Anyhow,
what's Jefferson?
you're in 5. And that seat is the one Diana has.
Oh.
And well, Christopher Weed has
I
the
was in 4.
4 is right over there. It's confusing. The whole thing is confusing. But yeah, so it's Diana's seat is up for election.
And I didn't know if you're group A or group B.
If your seat is up,
Yeah, you,
and then if you go on.
all, we're all up.
Okay,
Into, yeah, Candace Jackson, you're up.
thank you.
Joshua Fears up. David Ossey up. Dolores Spears up. Hunter up. Laura up. Grace, you is up.
Right.
Michael Soderstern is up. Teresa is up.
His hand is
No,
up.
Michael is not up.
No,
No, you missed a meeting.
there were some shenanigans at the last meeting that I'm now up.
He switched
You,
seats.
Michael, sorry, I was thinking Michael Kimbrough. Oh, sorry. Yes, I understand something happened there that I'm sure if I were in the meeting, I would have been screaming about, but I
We
met
got more
Michael
people for
Kimbrough.
quorum.
Yeah.
meant Michael
Yeah,
Kimbrough, sorry, Ever.
We decided not to decide between the two candidates for one at-large seat, and Michael graciously resigning from it, and we appointed him to the Dennis Leskey seat.
Yes, I remember you giving me the update after the meeting, so yes, but I in this case, I meant Michael Kimbrough,
Right.
sorry.
He's up to 2027. So Christine, Diana, Christopher, no, not Christopher, Betty Anderson is the last 2025 seat.
So let me just say what we spent money on the last time and the time before, not necessarily same amount. So these are the COVID ones. So in 2021, we tried signs that you stick on the street. Wasn't very effective. We tried signs that we could get in store windows. Well, we saw the signs, but we don't think they delivered anybody. You know, I mean, in other words,
Yeah,
when I say not very effective, we just didn't have an effective either year. I mean, we're in COVID, I mean, you know, there's just a lot of stuff. We had made big signs for store windows, but we didn't have this was a marketing committee, they just ended up not really having people who were going door to door in the stores to see if they would put the signs into their windows.
yeah, so that was the idea that I had, go where the people are, like, for example, the Pupulas or the 99 cent store, like, there's hubs areas.
Sure.
And either talk to the businesses or as a form of outreach, maybe instead of spending on a sign or something, maybe have a trinket that they can have as an incentive.
Right.
Whether it's a stress ball or whatever it is, be like, hey, if you sign up, you got this, and just kind
Yeah,
of.
but they're not signing up with us.
No, not signing up, but basically, you're interested in like getting your vote by mail stuff, or just, I didn't know what the rules were.
Right, well, I'm just telling you what we did.
Yeah.
So I printed up these signs, some businesses like Alibi Coffee, Surface, I mean, some places did put up the signs, but it didn't have, I mean, I think we ended up with leftovers. It's really cool. And they have to be in English and Spanish and maybe some Korean. And it was just a hard effort. It wasn't a bad effort, and it may not have been a costly effort, but I mean, that's what we did.
Yeah.
We also made postcards, which are much easier to distribute all over the place. But again, we don't know, did it deliver anything?
Yeah, that was my other question. Do we know what the turnout was for this
Very
last? Like,
Or
what number?
3, 4.
Or per area, per region?
Teresa has her hand up. But it was poor.
It was very, very poor. I think it may have been Laura who received 3 votes. That may have been the person with the greatest amount of votes.
And I didn't vote for myself because I'd already been appointed to the seat I'm sitting in.
Landslide is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the year before, though, I will say during COVID, and maybe because it was a new effort and there was extra work that had to happen for people to receive a ballot and then to mail in that ballot, we did have not as great as in previous years, but we
had
did
100 some.
Yeah, we had some participants. So my recommendation on this is to come up with something very new and unique and just try something else, because the past 2 election cycles, we have not been very.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, this is what we did, but I don't think any of it was effective. I think we have to, you know, when we use the word postcard, but these are double-sided, they're not to be mailed. That's such an obvious thing, we probably have to do it, even though we can't measure the effectiveness. But then the question is, are we doing it to get candidates, or are we doing it to get voters?
And the other question was, because I wonder if it's allowed to, because we do have a UNNC like Instagram and stuff. Can we post stuff there that we're looking for candidates? Can we do lives or things like that?
Right.
These are cheap things to do, but
Right. We can do Facebook and we can do Instagram. And well, Teresa, is this a new hand?
Yes, it's a new hand. I'll wait till you're done, Laura.
So the trick is we have to have slogans that don't include the word candidate or vote. If we're gonna like do boosting on Facebook or Instagram, even because they don't allow boosting for political.
Nice.
So even though we're not really, yeah,
They'll take your money, but.
no, boosting you pay.
Yeah.
You don't pay a lot, but
You do.
you do pay. And we've done it, but we've had to be very careful. You know, join the governing, you know, join the UNNC. Yeah. Or your voice counts. I mean, you just have to be really clever about not saying vote or run for office or be a candidate, because that will boot it out.
Yeah.
Not the post, but if you want to boost the post.
Yeah, I don't.
I read this somewhere. Is voting completely online?
Or can you vote in person? Did I make that?
Okay, what they're trying to do. I'm sure this is what they'll tell us on December 4th. The budget does not include in-person voting.
Yeah, there's no
The
money
end.
for this.
And the clerk is not staffing any sort of polling places of any sort. But Dunn's communications and marketing side is as disturbed as the rest of us.
Yeah.
And what they're working out with local libraries,
Um,
ballot boxes, maybe, where people could drop inside the library, not the registrar recorder's boxes outside, but in the libraries where you could drop, and you don't have to drop in your own library, you can drop in any of the long list. And if that is the case, that's where we have to get out.
mhm.
Now, I have to say, we don't have a lot of move to action. I mean, you know, MailChimp, we're getting 300 to 400 people read each e-blast. We're not getting 300 to 400 people
At the meeting.
at the meetings,
Right.
at the Great Jefferson Park Resource Fair. We did not get 300 to 400 people. So people are reading the blasts, but they're not moving to action. So that's free, so that's. Yeah, so. We have to get a budget. So the budget would be things like. I mean, we can have promotional items, but I got again an email today with sort of an outline of what you can and cannot do. We can do, but it needs planning as an event. We can have gatherings where people can get help filling out their ballots or learn about UNNC, learn how to be a candidate. We can do those, but those require submitting it as an event. And so if you're gonna.
You have to.
If you're gonna want to do it, well, I don't mean he has to do it all by himself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, if you think doing a meet and greet at any or many of the local coffee houses, and you know, the one at 4th and Jefferson, I mean, you know, we have a lot of places where people do gather. It not only needs a budget, but we need to submit everything early.
Mhm.
So it just requires a lot of planning. So again, you're gonna have a meeting. Even though filing begins on December 6th, when's the board meeting? Is it the same day?
I think it's the day after, before, right before, I think.
Calendar.
December 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're gonna have to approve the line budget on December 5. But that would imply, unless you wanna bring a budget item to the November meeting for very, you know, we can do it in phases. If you
I think
have
that would be-
initial
yeah.
mini budget just to get some stuff,
Mhm.
whatever stuff, because you also need it designed. And you need to talk to Hunter.
Yeah, I was thinking of
Now-
coming on Thursday to talk about.
You need to, yeah, ask Hunter, can he do design, or are we gonna need to pay for design services, which is fine. To get everything looking alike.
Yeah.
But Hunter's gonna have to be the person to answer them. And it's okay to include design services in the budget. So, yeah, Teresa,
I had my hand up, just to say that, really important to include Hunter. Also,
yeah,
he'll have more idea about the limitations on doing a boost when we're promoting
right,
voting activities. And I guess he can also advise on the creation of or design, you know, it just should be a coordinated effort between communications and elections. And
Correct.
since we don't have an outreach, communications is kind of the default outreach right
Right.
now.
well, he volunteered to be both outreach and elections, and at the meeting, we basically said, do elections now, and then we will transition you. Outreach. As there
Okay.
wasn't like anybody else raised their hand to say, I'll do.
Well, David did.
David did say it, but he'll be helping.
Yeah,
David aside.
In some ways, if we don't get, if all the elections are uncontested, in some ways, the second phase is almost more of an outreach
Yeah.
thing.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, so at your meeting, that I hope will be the 4th Monday, It's really important to get Hunter on board because somehow we've got to get a theme. I mean, the colors we know because it's our colors, the fonts we know, it's our, it's our design. But what is, the last one we had was lots of local photographs showing the diversity of people. Wasn't effective. I mean, it was pretty. It wasn't ineffective in the sense it was good branding, but it didn't bring out candidates and it didn't bring out anything. The one before in 2021 had the same general idea, but it was illustrations, kind of more cartoon, not real people. So we had decided real people is better, but maybe neither was good and we need a whole different idea.
Sorry.
Well, what brought you, I mean, oh, I know, actually you knew a board member.
Right. How did
I
you get
get
here? Yeah, so I got here because I knew a board member who had to step down. And then I met Mr. Gray, and then that's how, but I've kind of, heard about neighborhood council, so it was something on my list, but my daughter was younger.
Well,
Now I'm good.
all three of you, because John solicited you, Grace solicited you were totally on your own.
Yeah.
How did you find out?
I Googled neighborhood councils.
Oh, right, because you were working with a different neighborhood
Yeah.
council.
So maybe we should have and maybe I'll say this, I'll come to your meeting.
Yeah.
But maybe we should have an each one reach one, because my neighbors came to the West Adams to buy flowers. But then also I was like, yeah, I'm on the neighborhood council, right? And so my neighbor's daughter was like, how do you get involved with that? So maybe we're overlooking the most obvious source, which are board members, to maybe each one reach a person.
Right, but each one reach one doesn't require a budget, thank God, we don't have one yet. But that's the whole idea. I mean, maybe we don't need to spend a lot of money. We need to spend a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, maybe set up like the Wellington Farmers Market as,
Oh, yeah, that'd be free.
solicit.
Yeah, I think it's just inputting the time, like I said, I was willing to table and outreach and do all that stuff, like I don't mind. I just need to know what the general rules are so that.
Right.
Valid all that.
Would there be any way to get any sort of budget for candidate outreach stuff queued up for the November meeting, or is it already too late for all that?
It's not too late, but I don't think we can do the final budget. I think it's too early.
No, I guys meant like specifically like
Yeah.
flyers. I worry that if we go too late into December, then we're already into the filing period and Christmas and everything.
First of all, we have a really bad schedule. They put us into the middle of the holidays.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really hard for our message to get pierced through holiday messaging. I mean,
What better gift to give service?
Give your time to your.
Yeah. The spirit of the season lives on.
Absolutely.
All right, start the new year by being active.
Okay. Okay, so we could be trying, anyway, so, but all of that, because we can't make the postcards if we don't,
Yeah.
Getting on a
So
serious.
is there a way to say what,
Well, I can dig in and I have the prior budget.
okay, and then we can just go
And
and
we
be
can
like,
see what.
well,
Both prior.
I would go with let's do a baby budget for this. For
For the November meeting,
So that we have a thing to hit the ground running kind of thing,
and then,
then we'll expand the rest of
right.
it.
And we do have, and I guess I should make, Teresa, I know your hand's up, but Teresa, let me ask. Did you, when you were meeting with Hunter initially, did you and he talk about using the Canva account? Or does he have it? I mean, he does graphics already, right? He doesn't need our
Well, we do
Canva.
have a Canva account and we have,
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he used it or anything. And maybe he did use it for the flyers that we did for the resource fair. I can't remember, or Sarah Longhenry used it for the brochure that we.
right. I mean, we
created.
definitely have a Canva account. I mean, I don't like Canva. I find it clunky, but we have one. And it is, anyway, your hand is
Through the
up.
city, yes, so I can share that, or we can have, to follow a protocol, we can have Hunter provide it to the elections committee. So
Right.
or he can create for them. No,
Right,
but
yeah, that's what he needs to decide. Is he creating for them or what? Or do we need a dedicated
I
person?
have an Apple, so it's kind of like Canva a little bit, but it does help you do different.
Oh, I mean, I have in.
For example, like.
Oh, yeah, that
I
looks
do
good.
Random stuff. I was,
For,
well, I was going for the possibility that I wasn't getting elected and I had to run, so I was like, well, I'm gonna make one.
okay, then.
I have my hand up for something else.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I just want to remind the board that the protocol is that committees prepare their budgets, they come to executive to get approval of that, and then it comes to governing board. And
Right.
when that is bypassed, that means that there are a lot of questions at governing board, which, lengthens the meeting.
Well, Teresa, I think what we're sort of suggesting, Jim, is that we do an initial baby budget just so we can hit the ground running for December 6th, but have the real budget at the board on December 5th. If we wait till December 5th for everything, we will not have anything when the December 6th start of the candidate filing begins. So that's the only thing. They may come back and not need, at Ever's committee, they may decide that everything is going to be social media for that first little round. I don't want to tell them what we're doing. Or maybe we need some banners. I don't know. But I hear you. That's why, that's why we're, doing this now, and I'm upset that Dunn has waited so long to even have a meeting. Okay. We have funding items. Let's move on to funding items, but let's do World Harvest because Mark has been here and sitting through all of this, but then now he understands what a neighborhood council has to do. So Mark, you're with World Harvest. I don't know if you read the language I put on the agenda item, but what I wrote for everybody is World Harvest is requesting that UNNC help the organization acquire a van to serve the community better and to help service those experiencing food insecurity. In addition, should UNNC consider purchasing food boxes for distribution to those experiencing food insecurity? That's my question, wasn't Mark's question, but it was based on some discussions we've had. Mark's request is for a donation of up to $5,000. So we have a couple of new people who meet you back in July. So if you could introduce yourself and talk about.
Sorry, just really quick, to donate up to 5,000, that's for the van. Oh,
His request is
okay.
$5,000 for the. Well, I don't think we would do one. For both.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We
Got
don't have money. Anyway, Mark,
Okay.
if you get it, what World Harvest
Yes.
is.
Okay, great. So let me get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Reagan. I'm with World Harvest Charities and Family Services. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, a public benefit, and we have a couple different programs available for the public. One of the programs is Carts with Hearts at our location, 3100 Venice Boulevard, where a family can walk in. We accept anybody from anywhere with no discrimination of race, sexuality, gender, age, your height, and we allow people to come as often and as many times as they need because we are sharing the surplus. And the family will come in, they pay $50. They receive a shopping cart of food. The food is fruits, vegetables, meat, cheese, yogurts, dairy products, eggs, like 5 to 10 loaves of bread, however many they choose to put on their cart. And if you've been to the grocery store lately, the prices are outrageous. You walk in, you can spend $50 and walk out with like 2 bags of groceries. So that's one program. And a second program is we are handing out food boxes for free in different areas of Los Angeles. We hope to be in every zip code by 2030. And we have a couple different areas that we go to every single month. Some of those areas we hand out 1,200 food boxes. Some of those areas we hand out 500 food boxes. The food boxes contain about 40 pounds of groceries. Again, with a third of the box being dry goods and the other part of the box being the fruits, vegetables, cheese, and the meat is separate. We give out a 10-pound bag of meat to every family, in addition to a pack of rice, beans, and we actually go out of our way to work with Trace Brothers to pick up fresh tortillas for each of these events so that we can kind of give something nice to all the families, that yes, so we can give out tortillas. Okay. So the van, our plan is to use this van to pick up donations around Los Angeles and deliver food boxes for free to low-income families and senior centers.
So the reason I added the food boxes onto this is in part, do we not owe food boxes?
It wasn't well, but
Well, it was Food Harvest or other, what's the World Harvest Week?
but yes.
Yes, I mean, in other words, are we going to get that request again for Martin Luther King Day of Service?
I just thought about that with this and.
Well,
said
that's
I should
why I
email
put it
her.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to email the other organization to put that request in, so, because the December meeting.
So except for this last January of 2024, essentially, we had purchased food boxes, and Mark, this precedes you, from World Harvest for the Ignited Light organization, which puts on the Martin Luther King Day of Service at Wildlife Hills Mall, for them to then distribute as part of that. And that's a separate thing, but it's feels like the same thing only because it's the same World Harvest organization. And before we were doing that, we also directly purchased $5,000 worth of food boxes during COVID and distributed to some of our 100% affordable housing complexes. But that was when everybody was locked in. I will say that that need has not come to an end. Almost every Friday, as I'm leaving for work at the Gramercy Apartments where we meet, they have in their front yard. So they're not giving away food to own people, but they've partnered with another organization, and there's a line around the block for a food giveaway every Friday.
Yeah, I also see it here on Jefferson.
Right.
I don't know what day it is, but once a week on Jefferson and
Right.
Second.
So, we're living in times where it's real housing, it's not. There's still a lot of food insecurity, even though COVID is gone. On the other hand, I don't know that our budget supports $5,000. So,
I guess my question would be, are we looking to buy the food boxes? Or are we donating to the thing?
okay, he's asking for money to the van.
Okay.
I just added for our discussion purposes to remind everyone that we
this-
might also separately, it might be a separate action a month from now.
From
Yeah.
Coordinating.
Yeah, to ask the food boxes for their event. And we also might decide that we've supported that event enough because it's outside our boundaries and that we don't want to do that.
Laura, if I can add to that, with the purchase of the van, we will also deliver food boxes to your neighborhood and or senior centers. Currently we support about 2,536 different households within the area codes 919, 918, and 906. So within those three zip codes, understandably, not every single household is within your boundaries, but the majority are. And that number again is 2,536. I can send that spreadsheet to you all this evening if you'd like.
Well, Mark, I will say, unlike if you're going to a neighborhood council in North Hollywood, we know you service our neighborhood because you're right in the heart of our neighborhood council.
It's not that, it's just,
He's the one on,
Venice and Arlington.
we have Brendan.
no, it's not, it's
Yes.
not. I think it's a good idea. I just also know that the city clerk has been interesting in wordings and approvals and things that they've said yes to, even though we voted for. So sometimes you
They
have.
have. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have. They've messaged us just a couple months ago before this project, and they said, "Hey, what have you been doing with the funds that you received in the past couple of years?" And we had to show them proof, documentation. I was responsible for responding back to them, and I would like your neighborhood council to know that we have reached $18,747 for this particular project. Our goal is again $65,000, and the end date, we have extended it to June of 2025.
Have other neighborhood councils given to the van portion? Cause I know that they'll approve the food box. That won't be an issue.
But,
Food
but,
box,
but it's the van, it's the
But yeah, the
request.
van is the part that I think we might get some pushback, cause they've been.
Okay, so specifically this year, starting in July 22nd to October 2nd, we've received again the $18,747 for the van specifically. Three neighborhood councils provided the $5,000. They include Eagle Rock, Olympic Park, Central Alameda. The other neighborhood councils who supported this project are Los Feliz, Silver Lake, Pico Union, Central Hollywood, Los Angeles.
Okay, so we could probably go on their, well, not websites, but their public portion, just like we have a public portion of the clerk.
Mhm.
And see what, can't we see the MERs?
Should be able to.
And therefore we could get the language that was acceptable.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the part I'm like, yeah, is they send it back. If it doesn't.
So the city clerk is allowing language that literally says
We will
for
donate.
donate for a van. Or are they just simply accepting language saying we're donating to the 501c3 that is called World Harvest, if you know?
Okay, so in our NPG, we are specifically
van.
asking for the van.
Yeah,
And with the van, we will be providing free food boxes for your neighborhood.
Okay.
right, but what we're wondering is the language that is being accepted.
Okay. Um,
But we can look it
Okay,
up.
so
yeah.
how
Okay.
much? I don't think we can't do the
We can do
5,000.
five.
How much? would
But
be- would be
considering
feasible?
that we have a surplus of a bit and we're trying to figure out how much we want to dedicate to elections. And then maybe the rest we move to.
Well, I mean, your project time frame is running all the way till June.
Right.
So what
Yes.
we could do,
It's
is-
just wait until.
well, I was gonna say we could donate some now.
Okay.
And if later in the year we have more money, we can donate some more. Is another option.
Yes, that's.
It would be-
This one later, once we
Right,
do the
Once this is
the
like,
budget.
because again, I think we, on elections, might not spend more than 3 or 4, we're certainly not spending 9.
You're not spending that, right? So we can then move. So
Okay, so what's your recommendation, because we need to.
I'm looking at, no, okay.
So
I think that we could. considering our surplus and moving money, I think we could start with maybe like $1,500.
We're asking you, don't.
Yeah, no, this is me like math.
That is a number.
Yeah,
It's a number.
let's start with 15 and then once we
With a
get our-
caveat that we're gonna tell the board that we might.
Yes, that we
Come back
might
a second
come
time.
back and maybe ask. enough.
Yeah, so sorry, we're gonna have a disappointingly low initial number.
Or we can ask, does that work?
Well, if he wants 5.
Yes, but I'm saying, does 15 work for you? Cause right now, what we have left is technically 3,300.
Right,
So that would be giving them
him half of what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to any amount. If you all offered us $10, I would say that's great. We are asking all 99 neighborhood councils for this request. So I have my work put out in front of me, and if you would like to come up with any amount today, that'd be very helpful. And I can circle back around and meet with you all again. For the van, and or if we reach the goal, I know that we have some equipment that could use servicing, like one of our pallet jacks that lift 4,500 pounds is missing a wheel.
How much is it?
I think it's a couple thousand, you know. So
Yeah, that's my recommendation. Let's do 15 and then we'll see what we left. And
You guys agree?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, is that a motion?
oh,
Hey, Mark, just sorry, really quick question. What was the number you're at again right now?
yes, sir. Right now we are at $18,747.
and the goal is 65.
65, yeah.
Yes.
That's just so we can talk about that during the meeting.
Right, and then I'm just gonna remind everybody, but again, we can come back, but if we put $1,600 on the agenda, we can't give them 3.
Yeah.
At that night, but it doesn't mean we can't come back. So you made a motion?
I motion to approve or give donate.
Approve an NPG.
Approve an MPG for $1,500 for World Harvest in the support of purchase for their food delivery.
Thank you so much.
Wait, Michael
I'll
seconded,
second that.
all in favor? Nope, you don't get to vote. It's unanimous for the people who are here. Okay. Thank you. And again, we're gonna keep this conversation going because
Yes.
food security has been something that UNNC has. I don't want to say has supported because we don't support it, but support ending,
Eradication.
support its.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's too much food available and it's going to waste. And so we're catching it and we're distributing it the best we can.
Right. No, I mean, again, love the work you do, love the work Food Forward does, different organizations. Love the work Garden School Foundation does in partnership with Food Forward to also give away food. Love the work that the With Love Market and Cafe does at Vermont and Washington, also giving away food. So I mean, in other words, it's so important. But this is your night. Okay.
Hey, sorry, Mark, can you make sure to send that spreadsheet that you had?
I can send the members of the community and the reward with the amount and the NCs and the date of reward.
Okay, and
Does that work?
the last email I sent to you, I added Marco onto the list. But be sure to reply to that email because it adds.
I
Marco.
didn't know this.
Okay,
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
So we're gonna speed through this other stuff. We're in the South Seas house, and this is the recreation center also for the park. So Astrid, who's the director, asked us at the last minute, could we help donate donate for their Halloween? Which we, party, which is in the next week or two. Yeah, right, so it's way too late, and I said, well, maybe Winter Wonderland, and then I want to put on the agenda after further consideration. Is essentially what the problem is that the Department of Recreation and Parks overall does not provide sufficient funding to this facility. To buy decorations and to buy candy for kids. In recent past, they've had to borrow decorations from other nearby recreational facilities. And as well, it turns out that, because I was wondering, wait a minute, we've had lots of decorations here over the years, and they were not too long ago apparently discarded, not by the current leadership. So I put this on the agenda at her request, but I then had a email.
Kind of saw that.
Yeah, from Anna. Yeah, because when we look at the funding protocols, you know, that what we're allowed to spend money on and what we're not allowed to spend money on, I noticed that there was no real reference to making donations to individual recreation and parks, or for that matter, library facilities. And the only thing that was in the protocol, this is a 50-page document that says thou shalt do this, thou shalt do that. The only reference was sort of buried that if you want to make a donation to an individual place like this, it requires a council motion.
Like
the city council. Yeah, like the city council. And that they would have to do a motion that would allow a transfer of money from our bank account, which is not really bank account, to their bank account. And so what she wrote was we could do that, and then I read it correctly. Didn't want to be reading it correctly, that I read it correctly. And the only other option would be in effect to co-sponsor event. And it's like, I don't think we want to co-sponsor. Well, we don't, and then it's just one event, and it doesn't really solve the problem. They're just coming back to us year to year, or every 3 months for each event. And it seems like it's a better idea if we can build up their candy fund, build up their decorations and make it a one-time. So, I don't know what we want to recommend to the board. I mean, it feels like it'd be, if we could accomplish it, a smarter idea to approve donating a certain amount and then asking the council office to do the motion. I mean, I don't know exactly even what the language would be, but are we even interested in doing this? Because there might be a lot of work to figure it out.
I think considering that they host their meetings, I think it's free.
Well, it's not like a free, it's the city, the city generally pays for it. It ain't free because they have staff. But they do host our, I mean, in others, we do have a really good relationship. Yeah. Teresa, do you have any thoughts on this? As the retired co-chair of the Recreation and Parks Committee.
It's complicated that we can't, UNNC can't directly give funding to. And in the past, what we've done is we've relied on West Adams Avenues to supplement, some of the things they need there. And I have no idea, we haven't been doing a lot of filming in the Avenue, so I have no idea what our fund is like right now.
Right.
And yes, it would require, a little bit of, hard work to work with the council to get a motion. And I guess the thing would be to find out if other neighborhood councils that have recreation facilities do they want to support them, and would they join in with us on working on getting a motion?
We buy the things for our own things, store them here, and then let them use them at their discretion.
I don't know that we can justify buying. I mean, Christmas ornaments.
Those Christmas ornaments.
Holiday
ornaments.
That technically are mine because I never asked for them to be reimbursed.
Well, but technically we're having another party next in December.
But they are mine because I never asked for them.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Just have it.
I want to say
more Candace, not from the
council. there's several annoying things about this. One, many of us have already donated to stuff to this house. I mean, West Ham's Heritage donated Christmas ornaments in the past, and they used to be stored upstairs. They've been thrown away. I don't know why they were thrown away. I don't want to know why they were thrown away, but they were. And remember last year, we were having this meeting in this room last October, when the camera kept catching the ghost that was hanging in the corner.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But there's no decorations this year. Where are they? A few, but I mean, the point is, what happened? And don't, the way Recreation Parks is set up is they do have a 501c3 sort of friends organization, but it's for all parks. So if we donate money to them, or even, to buy decorations, there's no guarantee that those decorations land here or stay here. I mean, they can be moved from facility to facility. So, so there's a problem with that. But on the other hand, we used to be able to easily partner with this department, and I do wonder why it's so complicated now. I mean, it should be really easy for us to support their seasonal events.
Well, it's sort of been thrown away, there's really guaranteed. That wouldn't happen again, so maybe we can say we'll help sort in some other way, but
Right.
you've already proven to be a bad steward.
To take forward to the board, not $1,000, $400 as a co-sponsor of the Winter Wonderland event in December, and we only need 30 days.
Do we know what date?
We might.
And that would be from the outreach pot, which.
It would come from, but it's still an event.
Oh, so
It still has to be a 30-day something.
While Laura is looking that up, I just would like to answer Marco's question about the bylaws. They currently are not posted on the UNNC site, but they are posted on the Dunn site, the Empower LA. If you go in there, you pull up our file, our neighborhood council, the bylaws are posted. And I can reach out to Hunter to let him know to find a place.
Fantastic.
Updating.
These also have a website.
Sorry, I can't get through the.
Oh, I will reach out to Hunter to make sure that he finds a location on our website to post the bylaws.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I don't know the date, but it's sometime in mid-December, not the first week.
I think that's even though we don't always like doing the paperwork part of that, but I think that's a better solution than trying to
Do a council.
untangle what we're supposed to do to get the
Transfer.
LA City Council.
That's-
LA City Council.
No, it does seem crazy.
Yeah.
It just seems,
You're all the
ugh.
way to-
Okay, so
I would recommend like,
how much money, you guys, up to how much money are we recommending?
I think 100.
yeah, 400 is a fair amount.
Okay, to support and the,
Decoration.
well, to
That-
support the event, now we get to use the word event, and Anna, just give me a,
Thank you. Also, do we know how many people come to this like, during those times? During
a
those...
lot.
Yeah, I know the kid.
Lots.
We have a committee.
I don't.
Yeah, it's just so different. I mean, it's parents. But they're here to support their kids. They're not here to activate their community.
No, I'm not. I think it's because of that. I'm just curious. People actually come and enjoy these like.
Several
events. Okay.
I mean, in the past, I don't know how good they're marketing it now, because they'll have things like snow. I mean, the Winter Wonderland is a fun event,
Okay.
and they make a big pile they bring in actual snow sometimes.
None of you grew up in the snow.
Well,
So it's not the first time I was like 25.
right, okay,
I'm trying to find it.
I'm trying to look for what Anna said we could. So that we could do this motion properly.
Okay, programs available in South Sea.
Okay, so the park, if they're able to do so, may invoice the neighborhood council for promotional purposes at their event, such as invoice the NC for table or booth to do outreach. Put UNNC mention on all event flyers and such, but you have to make sure that this park can do it. Some parks cannot invoice the neighborhood council. So that would be, so in other words, it'd be not dissimilar from having the booth
But what's
at
that?
the
Yeah.
Jazz Under the Stars, where they can do an invoice. So I can ask Astrid, so, but essentially, our motion right now can be $400 to support the Winter Wonderland event,
Mhm.
potentially through having a booth for election
For
outreach
outreach.
There you go.
for neighborhood council branding and election outreach, blah, blah, blah. Which would then end up in your budget, that's okay. We can figure out where the budget, how
All I
it's,
heard is that we have $9,000 to burn through, so.
no, we're not trying to.
What? Have you heard? I'm just kidding.
But I do see.
Okay, well, I just need a motion, is there, yeah,
That we could, this outreach could be done.
Yeah,
well, it would be outreach and, I mean, it'd be election and branding.
Yeah.
Outreach, it's just that I will say, it's not gonna be the most effective place to be doing the outreach. But the time frame would be great,
Right down that motion.
oh, well, you know, we're being recorded.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it so I can come back to it.
Okay. I said
This is my shorthand. Support South Seas House with up to $400 for the Winter Wonderland
Event.
event. South Seas to invoice UNNC for a table or booth for it.
If possible, we'll invoice us. So we're crossing fingers. Okay, so moved by Laura, so. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Last real thing, but is it a real thing?
No, because she never emailed me back.
Okay, so we're tabling funding item I 3. Committee reports if as needed, discussion and possible action. Planning and zoning is canceled for tomorrow. By the way, planning and zoning is canceled for tomorrow. We've had a long day today, and Teresa, we won.
Oh.
Well, you, the community won. We can talk about that.
Yeah, can you give us a
Today
short
was-
update, Laura, really quick?
Yes, the short update is 1848 South Gramercy Place. The project there has been, this has been going on since 2018. It's been a long journey. So today it finally was for real hearing at the City Council's Planning and Land Use Management Committee. And Councilmember Hutt and her team wrote a very long change of findings from the planning department findings. So they wrote findings to support the appeal and require that the developer applicant do an actual EIR, or at least a full-blown environmental review of the project, which he's proposing 8 stories. It's a 6-to-1 FAR, which is a ratio of how much building is on the size of the lot. The zoning allows for 1.5 to 1. And here for 6-to-1, so it's hugely dense. And there's no open space, there was no common open space at all, just some balconies for individual apartments, there was 0-foot setback on fence or on your side, a 2-story garage, venting 4 feet from the apartment building next door. It is terrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a dozen requests for a dozen waivers from the zoning. Anyway, the fellow council members accepted that. That's what they voted. And interesting enough, there were 2 cases today at city council where the council members supported appeals and did not support the planning. And, you know, they never support appeals. They always support permits. So, but it's been a long
Congratulations.
day. So, anyway, any committee reports? We're done. Oh, agenda items for the next governing board meeting, although we've kind of discussed them. We have the funding request, we'll have an interim elections. I don't think we have any planning and zoning items.
Did we say we had to vote on the inventory, folks, or we just do it?
We'll find out if we have to vote, if we have to assign the people, then we'll have to vote on that, not vote on the inventory, but vote on
the people.
the team. If we have to. I mean, in years past, we did have to, but I don't remember. I mean, it wasn't in the email. So.
I don't remember reading.
And we will appoint the standing rules ad hoc committee that we tabled last month. And do we table anything else? So anyway, that's what I'm thinking is, you know, we're gonna try and put a good, you know, things on this agenda so we can have a shorter agenda in December. So we can have the celebration of some sort, holiday celebration. So, okay. Anything else? We can be adjourned at 8:58. 54.
Oh, my
Here-
computer says.
Here's the future.
Congratulations, Laura.
Have a good night.
There. Good night. Okay.